What's happening? Yeah, what's happening? What's that? That's it, you got it.
All right, what is up, everybody? My name is Dane Thompson, and welcome back to another episode of What's Happening. This is the weekly, sometimes, web series here where I fill you guys in on the blanks on the Burndown YouTube channel. How's it going, everybody? I haven't had a moment to sit down and talk to you guys, talk to myself a lot, but today's a special day. We got a mealtime video, and then I got some other stuff that I can show you guys, and then just give you a quick overview rundown for those of you that are actually really interested in the nitty gritty as far as the Maliboom, and then what we're doing for Rocky Mountain Race Week. So, first and foremost, let's get into it. This was sent to me by none other than Mr. Hooples, Matt Hooples, over from Sloppy Mechanics, sent me this package here, and I wanted to share with you guys, and then hopefully he's not too excited, because then you guys might bother him for one, or maybe it's something that you could use as well. But on the Maliboom, you guys all know that I run E85. I've been E85 full-time for pretty much since I switched it over, because the car didn't see that much street time, and I'm like, and then I got a bunch of stations that are local, right? All right, package within a package, and it's good too because I cut all the way through a bunch of them. Anyway, and I didn't have a content sensor, so I reached out to Matt, and if you guys don't know, he's got a cool plug-and-play system, so he can get you hooked up with that. And I was basically like, I changed the whole harness on my Terminator X, so I don't have that big plug that everybody has to make it plug and play. So I was like, hey dude, should I just buy one? And then I'll just, revamp the thing. What's the easiest course of action? And he's like, oh, I have an idea. So, instructions. And here it is. Bada boom, bada bing. And so, I named it the flexbox. I don't know what Matt wanted to call it, but I made a little sticker for it. We're going to probably spruce her up a bit and add some horsepower. But essentially, this is a little box, and then we've just got the 3 wires. We've got a 12-volt power source, a ground, and a signal. And then that obviously goes to the sensor. And this does some magical voodoo, because on Terminator X, you just don't run it straight in. It's not a 12-volt. I believe it's a 12-volt source, and then it's a 5-volt reference. Or actually a wave or something. I don't know. Matt could probably chime in, or somebody smarter than me. I don't know how it works. All I know is the plug-and-play harness he has does all that voodoo. And again, I don't have the big mamma jamma just to plug it in. Like on the Twinnebago, if you guys watched that episode, I have one of Matt's harnesses. So it plugs in the alternator, I believe, and then it plugs in the old flex fuel, and everything works and it's happy. Well, the Maliboom, we customized and cut the harness all up and shortened it. And it looks beautiful. My buddy Joe did a fantastic job on it. But we cut off the big old ugly Fandango plug. So this will allow me to wire this in. And no, I think something's rattling around. Anyway, this will allow me to wire it in. And then if it works, it may be something that he can do for somebody else or offer or whatever. And then if not, I don't know. We'll have to open it up and figure out how the thing works. So, of course, we got to put the sticker on it first, though. And it looks like he's got some Velcro or something. I don't know. But we'll find a place for this thing. We'll mount it up. Thank you very much, Matt. And then I'll just have to find a spot. I'm thinking the trunk, because I've already got 12 volts back there. And then it would just be easy for the line. And I know people complain, so leave in the comments what you think. If you've run it on the return in the rear by the tank, or if it has to be on the high side or whatever. I guess I can't, though, because it's a -8 feed. So I could do it on the crossover on the fuel rail underneath, and it would be a big cluster F. We're just going to put it in the back. I just need to know content. I'm not too crazy. I don't even think I'm going to have it control it, flex it. So orange is 12-volt power, gray is ground, purple is signal out to the Holly input. So nice instruction manual. Thank you very much. Better keep that with that, Happel. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much for taking care of me. And let me see. The next thing on the agenda, I'm going to share this with you guys. Bam! So I got the fancy cap. This is a Champion Cooling Systems billet cap. They basically just stuff a regular cap in there. But nonetheless, this thing is rad. This is one of the last pieces of the puzzle. I was able to sneak over there this afternoon And I got the shroud, so they made a regular shroud for it. I left everything alone on that radiator, so I essentially have an off-the-shelf, I think it was like a early 90s Corvette radiator. If anybody's interested, I can leave a comment on exactly what it is. They sent me the info on it. But essentially, I just needed something that fit. And then the bottom outlet on the radiator was off of the bottom. And then because it's a bit shorter and I mounted it high, it just clears the hot side. The thing's beautiful. I don't have it all put together and put in. We'll cover that and I'll show you guys because I got to assemble it and everything. But I have all the pieces to finish it up. And then I made the hard lines and all that stuff, or the tubing, whatever, the coolant tubing, because I used steel and then just some couplers. But that's all essentially done. They got me the shroud. I got the fans. So I'll just assemble that whole thing like Voltron. And then they gave me a nice piece of aluminum. And I'm going to make a beauty panel, and then obviously give a big shout out across the top of the radiator. So my old one used to say Maliboom. This one will say Champion Cooling Systems. I'll probably just put the website on there for those guys because they've been awesome. But looking forward to that. So we got that all taken care of. If you watched or followed along, I got the control arms all mounted up in the car. I got coilovers up front, so we set the ride height. I had to come up just like a little bit, but it looks much better without the thing sticking all up in the front like some pre-runner deal. But we were running out of bigger items, and then one of the other last big items I got is this guy. So I looked around at a bunch of different master cylinders. You know, obviously I'd love to do like wheel wood or do whatever, but like the all-in-one contained wheel wood, the aluminum one, that's some more show car stuff. And then they had like a plastic one, but I was having a hard time. Well, I'm not sure if I found one, but anyways, this is essentially like a 7/8. This is a little bit bigger, but 7/8 bore is kind of the magic spot where my car is now. The brakes work, but the master's always been weird. It's out of I believe it's a Maverick master cylinder. So I looked and looked and looked. I found this guy. So this is the aluminum body, and then it just has a little plastic container, so it's not going to get all roached out and super ugly. If you're wondering if it fits the car, I have no idea. We're just going to hopefully make it work. I don't know what plunger travel is, any of that stuff, but it is a little over 7/8. So I think this is like 15/16 or something, or I don't know, whatever the next step, 11/16. The next step up is 23 millimeters. I was looking for like a 22, something like that. But anyway, yeah, and the reason for that is I have manual brakes. So like an inch and then an inch and a quarter, that's all power brake stuff. So you'll notice when the car's off, the brakes are real hard to push. Obviously they're assisted as well. And that's part of the issue, but also when it's smaller, you get more pressure off of your pedal, but there's more travel to it. So there's a bunch that goes into it. The car's always been manual, so I have enough throw on the pedal if you're wondering there, because it's like 8-to-1 or something, and then they actually moved the pedal throw when you go power. So you don't just bolt stuff in. That's kind of not how brakes work. There's a bunch to it, but again, the brakes have always been junk in my car. So I'm putting this in. I've got the vented rotors, and then hopefully this gives me a good pedal feel and it stays nice and tight, because right now it'll work and it's really hard, and then it kind of skips and then it kind of comes back, and that's probably not a good feeling if I'm going down an incline or anything like that. So this is next on the agenda to stuff in there. This is out of a 1990 Ford Bronco 2. So yeah, I keep stuffing Ford parts in my Chevy. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I almost thought it'd be cool. It has the little indicator for low brake fluid. And then the other thing that's cool is I have a sensor in my Champion radiator because there was a bung for it. And the guy was like, hey, do you want me just to shave this and weld it? It'd be kind of ugly. I said, you know, it's up to you guys. I want to keep it as nice as possible, but ultimately, you know. And he's like, hey, this takes a sensor. He's like, we have the sensor for it. I was like, well, if you give me the sensor, I'll just plug it in. So I'll have to figure that out. It's really low on the totem pole list of things to do, but I will have a coolant sensor in my radiator, so my coolant actually got low. Like if I was completely just oblivious, I'll either light it up on the dash or something, and if I'm gonna go that far, maybe we'll do one for this too, streetcar stuff. But I don't know. I feel like I should be checking all this stuff every time I get in the death trap thing anyway. So that is that. So brakes are pretty much last on the list. So we've got again, big shout out to Matt Happel. I'm calling this the flexbox, and we'll plumb this in, so we should be able to read E85 content. We should have brakes so we could stop, which would be kind of fancy. The suspension's all there. The alignment doesn't look terrible. I think I found a place in Redlands, California. There's some speed shop, some guy that will do it. I haven't called to see what that's going to run or whatever, but we'll put the thing on whatever at the shop and get the alignment done professionally. even though Reed's 5-minute job that he did in the driveway seems to be cool because the tires aren't getting roached, it doesn't pull. So we'll get a few things buttoned up. I'll have to call KP and see if I can schedule dyno time. I know he's always super busy, so it'll be some crazy after-hour deal, I'm sure. And we'll head over there, and we'll just finalize the top-end tune on the car, and then that's it. Ryan Jans was asking me how the converter felt and all that, and if I put on the brake. I was like, dude, I haven't put on the brake. I haven't done anything. And then everybody that watched the video of me going down to Champion Cooling Systems, yes, I was pulling over premature. It was barely like 200. And I know that majority of them run around at 210, you know, some even more than that, like nowadays or whatever, like an LS truck motor. The thermostat for an LS truck motor is 195, and that's cool. So I think they run like 210 factory, maybe a little bit more. You guys can comment. But it's a whole new setup. Everything's kind of new. And I'm like, I just don't want to see it go from like 2 something, and I think I'm cool. And the next thing you know, it's off in La La Land, and, you know, we cook the thing. So just trying to take it easy on it because we're going to beat the crap out of it. And I'd rather do all of that on Rocky Mountain Race Week than to beat. There's no point in beating my car up right now. And having to pull over a couple times on its maiden voyage doesn't bother me at all, because I'd much rather do that and be in the clear and make sure things are good, so I don't have to pull over quite so much in the Rocky Mountains or wherever we end up. Lastly, before I get out of here, I just want to make it known and let everybody know, because everybody's wondering, you know, horsepower and how fast the car. John was over here yesterday, my buddy John, and he was asking me, he's like, so, you know, what are you doing? And the reality of it is, this is kind of a bucket list event for me, and there are some heavy hitters. I mean, even I'll be in the hot rod class. There was a guy that averaged, like, I think it was high 8s or maybe super low 9s for all 5 days or whatever, all the tracks. It was a really nice Chevelle, so at least it's a Chevelle. But the thing's done up, funny car cage. He's been running for years. I mean, that guy knows his stuff. So my car, first year out, I'm not going to be able to hang with a guy like that right out of the gate. So what I figured I would do is I will just set a goal for myself. So the main goal is to finish. Dead last, whatever it is, I don't care. If we just had to break beams and go to every event, whatever, so be it. I want to finish, and I want to go from the start all the way to the finish, and I want to make a pass on the last day at the track. Be it slow, fast, whatever, I just want to cross the finish line running, and that will be amazing in itself. And then as far as time slips go, I'm looking for 9-second passes. The car has only been 10:32, or it was 10:34, I believe it was, at 1:32. I'll have to look the time slip up. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. But that was Zip Tie Drags a couple years back. And that was against Reed when I was racing Rita. And that was the fastest car ever went. And then I just had, you know, all kinds of problems. Most of them probably self-induced when we Irwindale, and then the big flu virus thing hit and all that stuff. So car hasn't been out. Fastest it's been is, you know, low-ish 10s. So I figure if we could run the 9s, even high 9s, which we should be capable of, I'll be more than happy. And then depending, I think maybe first day we'll take a few whacks at it, see what it's doing. And if I really feel like we're pushing it too hard, I mean, you know, there's really no reason, like I said, for me to swing for the fences at Rocky Mountain Race Week. I don't feel, because what I'd like to do is hit my number, enjoy the event. I'm sure there'll be enough stress on the car as it is, or on myself, because, you know, I just drove 60 miles in it, let alone like 300 in a stretch or whatever. And yeah, so if I can click off 9s at every track, even if it's like a 9.999, I'll be more than happy with that. And then just depending on what the car is doing and where we are in the running, maybe we just hit a 9 if we can just roll in and just do 1 or 2 hits or whatever and get the number. And then just mingle with people, network, you know, have a good time, take pictures, and have like an event and a trip versus really struggling. I would really love to feel it out and see what happens, and maybe bring the car back next year when I kind of really know what to expect and see what everybody else is bringing to the table. But ultimately, you know, these guys are serious. It's a serious event. It's the biggest event that, you know, I'll ever go to, or at least that I have been to, I should say. And it's going to take a lot. I mean, if I want to be competitive at some point, I know that I can't continue to build a car from scratch. Like for LS Fest, rewiring the whole car and doing all these things that I've done to get the car where it's at. I'm really hoping that we can stop doing that and focus on making passes, seat time, and then eventually making power. And that brings me to power for the car. I'm only looking for mid-7s, maybe 800 at the tire. We'll see what it does. And again, I'm really not trying to knock the pistons out of the thing right now. so we can leisurely make, you know, some horsepower, which we should be capable of doing. And then again, the car only made, I think it was 650 at the tire with the other motor, and that was with no intercooler at like 18 pounds of boost with 300-degree IATs, and it still boogied pretty good. And then I was on 7 cylinders, you know, but I think we have a lot of room to grow with the car. And then I also, I got some new tires. I didn't show you guys, but I got a 255, so it's in between, so hopefully I won't really have to knock too much stuff around. And then worst case, I believe they'll go on the rims that I already have, because the budget, believe it or not, is wearing thin, because it's a lot. It's been a lot. I already got the rooms booked. I still got to get the rooms there and then the rooms back. So it is what it is. I'm in, you know, for long haul. I'm very excited about it. Really not going to complain about what anything costs, because we all know it's astronomical. But I feel fortunate enough that I even get to go, and I'm very fortunate that I have companies like Champion Cooling Systems, War Performance. I've got Happel, you know, help me out. DJ Safety is phenomenal. I found out too that all my safety equipment, of course, expired last year, and I didn't know that because we all kind of just skipped over last year. So I would have had plenty of time to get safety equipment until last minute. So here we are. Put my call in to my guys over at DJ, so they already took care of me on that. So I got, and then it sucked too is the helmet. So my helmet was out. So my custom painted helmet, that thing basically is just a shelf wall unit, maybe off-road use or something at some point. And then, yeah, my belts. I only had 1 set of belts. Those were out. So now I got 2 new sets of belts. And then a couple other things. I know I need like a neck collar. I'll hopefully get like last minute. And then I think shoes. And then, yeah, man. And then I have to start the cage, I think, too. So I'm starting to stress. We got some time left, but I mean, I'm going to fill it up right till we leave. So the next main thing is to slam the radiator back in, get the thing running. We got to take it to the dyno. So I didn't really want to dyno it before it was kind of set up to run. So now that we have the cooling and all the stuff in it, it is time to go bang on that thing. I'll bring you guys along. We'll see what kind of number we make. We'll let you guys guess, even though I kind of told you the ballpark. But hell, we'll just click the thing off. I don't know what it's going to do. That's what I'm shooting for, but who knows? We'll see when we put it on the roller. We'll see where it goes. So that is it. Thank you for watching me ramble. If you guys have questions, please leave them. I'll try to get to them as best I can, and then I'll try to bring you guys as many videos as possible. I'm calling it the Road to Rocky Mountain Race Week. So all these little things that I got to do, I'm going to just start popping videos up, and then we're bringing you videos from Rocky Mountain Race Week. I'm going to try to drop one every night when I get to the hotel room. I'm probably not going to sleep, but I'm trying to bring you guys along because I want you guys to see the live feed if you're able to and capable, and then you can go back and see what it took me, you know, to make those passes, if I was just leisurely making strolls or if the car was on its last leg, or who knows. But it's fun that way. I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting excited, and I'm getting excited that I'm close and I'm kind of lining up with the deadline. So I'm excited about that, but I got to get out of here. Got to edit some video. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.